open up the floor to the Parent Professional Advocacy League. You're going to learn more about everyone that's here for the conversation and all our speakers. So I'll just pass the floor over to Joanna. I think before you start sharing, we should go around and introduce yourselves first.
Okay, all right, sorry. So my name is Joanna Rodriguez. I'm the Multicultural Outreach Coordinator at PAL. I've been working at PAL for about a year. I am a parent of 2 children. One is 12, my oldest child is 21. Both have their own diagnosis, one mental health challenges and the other one physical disability. And I'll pass it to Stacy.
Hi, I'm Stacy. I too work with PAL. I am a program manager. We will be doing a lot of outreach in different parts of the state. And I'm also a mom. I've raised 3 boys, all of whom are adults. 2 of them struggled quite a bit with mental health issues, learning disabilities. And here I am working with people who have some of the same issues that I lived through as well.
Hi everybody, I'm Dev Kaplan, Youth Coordinator for Parent Professional Advocacy League, as well as their youth program called Youth Move Massachusetts. I am going to be sharing a little bit about what Youth Move Mass is all about, as well as sharing my lived experience story. And very excited to share all this information with you guys.
Thank you all for introducing yourselves. Before we get started, I want to make sure that, because I don't think I said this before, but this conversation is about children's health. And the Parent Professional Advocacy League deals more around children's mental health. So Joanna's going to go more into depth about that, but just wanted to just preface by saying, you know, that's what we're here today talking about. So go ahead, Joanna.
Thank you, Mina. So I can share my screen now, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. So I introduce myself. My name is Joanna. So I am the parent of 2 children. And I just want to let everyone know that everyone at PAL has had lived experience, and I'll go more in depth about that. So Parent Professional Advocacy League, we are the state family grassroots and nonprofit organization based in Waltham and Worcester. We advocate on behalf of children and youth with emotional, behavioral, and mental health needs and their families. The state chapter of Massachusetts State Family Network of the National Federation of Families for Child Mental Health and Substance Abuse of the Mental Health Services Administration. That was a lot of words, as SAMHSA. And we have a connection to Justice for Families. We have a group, Juvenile Justice. We are the state chapter of Youth Move National and Youth Move Massachusetts. So you heard me say families, and we say PAL supports families. And we say families of children with mental health needs, not children, youth, and their families, because families are the linchpin right now of their children's care. And right now, many of us are exhausted and overwhelmed. PAL is also, we said, it's a family-run organization. What is a family-run organization? It means that PAL staff have the experience of raising a child with behavioral health needs. It means that experience counts. It means the same is true for more than half of PAL board. Everyone at PAL has experience in raising a child with mental health challenges. We ourselves may have mental health challenges, or our parents, or a sibling. It also means that we work hard to be sure others listen to the perspective of families about services we now have and the ones that could come. At PAL, we educate, we collaborate, and we advocate. how do we educate? We educate by raising public awareness. We provide trainings. We collect data on the needs of families. We advocate at an individual level, at a community level, or the state level. So we bring the voice of the family to the state, so that's how we can make changes. We collaborate one-to-one. We have family support. So you can call us, you can go to our website, you can call us, you can fill out a form, and someone will call you back within 24 to 48 hours. We have, right now at PAL, we have family support specialists that speak Spanish, Portuguese, Haitian Creole. We facilitate support groups with youth and families. So you can basically, we have a list of support groups. You can join our support groups. You can contact us. You can go to our website. We collect data on the needs of families, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. So what is children's mental health? Mental health is essential for overall health and well-being. Half of all mental health disorders started at age 14. Now, during COVID and after COVID, we've seen that is actually a lot younger. Like adults, children and teens can have mental health needs that interfere with the way they think, the way they feel, and the way they act. However, they do find it challenging to express themselves and talk about what they're feeling, how they can get help. When left untreated, mental health needs can lead to school failure, 50% of dropout rates, family conflicts, substance use disorders. We do have statistics about this. Violence, 80% end up in the juvenile justice system, and worse, suicide. So we have opportunities for family support and training at PAL. We have like a Hispanic group. The group runs every Tuesday from 10 to 12. It is well attended. Families come from like the state, because like right now, since everything is virtual, anyone can join that group. When you join that group, you feel, you can meet other parents with children that are having mental health challenges, behavioral challenges. You can connect with those families as well with one of us. On Tuesday from 5 to 7, we have another support group. It's out of Winchendon. And then every Thursday, like on Thursdays from 6 to 8, we have a Parents of Transitional Age Youth. It's called PTE, and that's a support group that you can join. And you can, if you're interested, you can go to our website or shoot us an email, and we can send you the link. You can connect with PAL in several different ways. Like I said, you can go to our website. We also have monthly statewide meetings on the second Tuesday of the month for parents, caregivers, and family members. Family partners of children with behavioral health needs. You can, for more information on that, you can go to our website or go to statewide at ppal.net. We stay up to date with newsletters. Every month we send out a newsletter, and we also send a calendar of support. In that calendar, you can find all of our events and our meetings, our workshops. Again, you can also email us. One of us will get back to you if you're interested in joining any of those groups or the events. Like we just had Mental Health Awareness Month in May, and that was very popular. I don't know if everyone saw that a lot of places in statewide were lit up green. Like providers were dressed green. We had a lot of pictures. We have a Facebook account that you can join also. And you can see a lot of our activities and presentations there. We also wrote 5 new tip sheets this year. You can go to our website. I have a few of the tip sheets here. I will show them to you so that you, but there is a lot more, but these are the ones that were most presented. So we talked that we have a tip sheet that says talking to your insurance company about mental health coverage. We have these tip sheets right now in Spanish, in Haitian Creole. We're hoping to translate in other languages. Sibling support, how can parents of children with mental health need support typically developing siblings? And we have that in Spanish as well. Helping your child with school anxiety and avoidance. Again, we have it in Spanish right now. We are hoping to have it in Portuguese and Haitian Creole as well. Sharing your family's mental health story. And using a private health analysis. Like, this is only a few of the many tip sheets that you can find in our website. We also have every week, one of us basically records a video and we post it on Facebook. And we have like a few videos. One of the ones that were most viewed topics, and you can find these videos also by going to our website, to our Facebook link. Which child do I help first? How are you treated in the mental health system? Timelines for special education, going to the emergency room for a mental health crisis, what to do basically, and let's talk about behaviors. And this is the amount of families that visited those videos and that visited Facebook and saw those videos. We still listen to our families. We ask a question once a month. We ask families to talk about, what their experiences have been. And one of the questions that was very telling is like feeling blame for your child's behaviors. 91% of parents and caregivers feel blame for their child's behaviors. And how often? 41% said frequently, 50% said sometimes, and 9% said rarely. So this is the type of information that we're able to get by sending surveys and asking our parents about what's happening in their lives. Parents also told us like how loss and grief affected them during COVID, and this is you can also find this in our website by going to www.ppal.net. This is like in our group as well, in our website as well, you will find the support groups, but we also have a list. This list is also in our calendar that goes out once a month, and also in our newsletter. They will talk more about this, but we have a branch called Youth Move Massachusetts, and Paul is currently the Massachusetts chapter of Youth Move. And it's a youth-led national organization dedicated to unifying youth voice and improving the services and systems supporting youth. They do also have a website, and you can, if anyone is interested, we'll send it to you in an email. We have Juvenile Justice, the group in Juvenile Justice. They work with families that are dealing with the court system, CRAs, etc. And every Tuesday we have a school problem solving clinic where you can go join them from 1 to 3 and ask questions in regards to juvenile justice. We have a series. Excuse me. We have a series called Active Parenting of Teens. And if people have DCF involvement, a lot of times they say that they need a certificate. They can use this when you get a certificate at the end. You can find us in social media, but like I've been saying all along, by using Facebook, Instagram. We're very excited. We just came up with our Facebook in Espanol. So it's a Facebook page in Spanish where you can go, it's well monitored, and you can go into our Facebook and ask questions. And it's only parents of children with mental health challenges join the group, and we monitor that very well. And we post things daily, information daily. I don't know if anyone has any questions that I can help now, or we can wait for the end. Anyone?
Hi, my name is Mireille. I have a question regarding, do you have plan, or should I say, does the organization have plan on to perhaps provide all of those informations in Haitian Creole? Because I've worked with a family, well, families, and majority of them have young children that have that needs, but they not yet able to read or speak in English, but they are interested in finding those resources for their children.
Yes, I would actually love to meet with you, Miro. We do have one of my colleagues who speaks Haitian Creole, and we are helping a lot of families that speak Haitian Creole. And we have already translated a lot of information in that language, but obviously we have more to do. However, if you have a specific need, we will be able to support the families that you're working with. By going to our website, you can actually have them go to our website and write everything in Haitian Creole, and one of us will call us, the person that speaks the language will call that family.
Yeah, that is great. I think also what I'm noticing is that and majority of us here in this meeting, as we said, we have a child, one form or the other, that have that need, is that when you, the parent yourself, can able to read the information, it seems like you get it and you understand it and you invest more than somebody sitting and explain it to you. I mean, that's a form of support. But when you can read all those information in your own language and you can grasp it, it seems to me that you're more prone to act upon it, to look for the services and the support for your children.
I agree with you. And like I always say, being a person of bilingual, bicultural, a lot of times when I enter the world of like an IEP, okay, or a diagnosis, mental health, it was very difficult. Navigating the system was really difficult, but also accepting, the fact that my child had that need. It was very difficult. I was very isolated. I felt like I was the only one. So I 100% agree with you.
Okay, thank you. And
Yeah,
we will get in touch.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for that question. Anyone has any additional questions before we start? Hello. I mean, I don't know if someone was talking, asking a question or.
No, I think that they hadn't muted yet when they entered. I think that was Cheryl.
Oh, okay, perfect.
But Cheryl, if you do have a question, you can feel free to ask, but I think it had to do with the muting situation. But any other questions before we move on? We'll have a discussion at the end. So there's plenty of time to ask more questions.
I have a question. My name is Cheryl. It's not pertaining to the meeting. Could you give me the address to where they're having the outing at from 6 to 7:30 at? I know saying on Washington Street, is it 536 or something like that? Does anybody know?
Can you say that one more time? I'm sorry.
They're having an outing, like
Where
they're raffling off the air conditioner.
Oh, I'm not sure, but if anyone knows where they are raffling off,
I know Edith knew.
can you put it in the chat? I'm not sure. But if anyone is looking to connect with Joanna or learn more about PPAL, we're going to send a follow-up email with all the information and everyone's contact. Maybe we should pass it over to Deb.
Okay.
Unless you have any more questions. Patricia, can you please mute unless you have a question? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess I can go ahead if there's no more questions. So yeah, if during this my part of the presentation you'd like to ask a question, please feel free to just jump right in and ask. I'm totally open to that. Otherwise, it'd be awesome if you guys could just stay muted so I can focus because it is a long and big journey that I want to share with you guys. So first of all, I'd like to just talk about my position at Youth Move Massachusetts and PAL. So again, I'm Dev Kaplan. I am the youth coordinator, and what that entails is well, there's a lot of things that it entails, but mainly I'm in charge of the young adults that we hired called the Youth Advocates. The Youth Advocates do social media for us. They sit on panels and they sit on committees and we train them as well. It's quite an awesome thing and an opportunity for them to have this position. I'm also a co-chair for this organization called SIAC, the Statewide Young Adult Council. Let's see, what else am I doing? I do the social media part as well. I'm a certified peer specialist, which means that I use my lived experience to do one-on-ones and facilitate groups with many young adults. So I've helped many young adults along my journey at PAL. I've also been working here for about a year and a half. So I'm gonna get on to my story. So actually no, before I go into my story, there's one more thing. So the things we offer right now are we offer a virtual youth group that happens on the first Tuesday of every month. So it's monthly at 5 o'clock to 6:30 p.m. And I can possibly share my screen later and show the flyer for that, or I can just email you the flyer for that. And we are currently running an internship, which has been a really fantastic, successful thing. It's a 2-week internship where we have around 14 young adults from all over Mass. It's sponsored by DMH in the central Massachusetts area, actually. Not all over Mass. but yeah, they have this great opportunity to meet each other, meet other young adults with lived experience, and it's a great community. And they learn, we're teaching them in strategic sharing, QPR, LGBTQ plus community stuff, and many other things. We're also teaching them life skills as well. All right, that was a mouthful. I'm gonna now go on to my story. So, what I really hope to give you all with my story is hope itself, because what I've been through has been treacherous, has been dark, but I'm literally like 100%, and I'm born to be a mental health advocate and share this story with you. All right, so I'm 26 years old right now. I went to high school. I had B's and C's. Not the best grades, but still enough to get by. My family, they were. Oops, sorry about that. My family loves me. I love my family. I'm really in a good situation. I've always been in a good situation with my family, especially my mom. My mom is my number one advocate, and she's been my best friend, my number one support my entire life, right? So all of a sudden, very suddenly, I was in high school, just in my astronomy class, when all of a sudden I felt this really big paranoia. And I know, it was because marijuana induced it. I smoked marijuana 94 times in 2 years. And I know that because I logged it. Because I knew my mom was warning me that we have an addiction issue and that could be a bad thing to smoke marijuana. And I didn't listen to her. I did not listen to her. But I kept this log in case something bad happened. And it did. Something bad happened. I really, really became paranoid. Very, very paranoid. In this one class, in astronomy class. I felt the teacher's eyes were on me. I was at the front of the classroom. I felt all the students behind me. I felt they were staring at me. I felt everyone was talking about me. The paranoia was unimaginably terrifying. So I went home on my own accord and curled up on my beige leather couch, just chilling in absolute despair. So I decided, Mom, please get me some help. I need to go to the hospital. Something's terribly wrong. Went to the hospital for a good week, and that was the start of my first psychotic episode. Now, let me tell you, psychosis is super terrifying. I had psychosis for 6 months, my first time going through it. 6 months. And every single second of those 6 months, I had delusions that I couldn't keep to myself, such as I thought I was Jesus Christ. I thought my cat was God. And I thought many other things that weren't real. And then I felt that, imagine giving your mind a microphone, putting it on max volume for 6 months, having all your thoughts being totally loud, and you thinking that everyone can hear every single thought you've ever had for 6 entire months. That was the worst symptom, because I could not keep privacy. I couldn't keep privacy to myself, and it was just excruciatingly scary. But what really helped was my mom, because I was at my house, this house I'm living in right now. I was here for those 6 months. Do you have a question, Janet? Oh, okay. Any questions are welcome. Please interrupt. Totally fine. We have probably another 10 or so minutes left of my story, maybe a little bit less, just so you guys have a good time frame. So my mom is my biggest support. Like I said, I was living with my mom. I was only 18 at the time, and yeah, I remember going on walks with my mom outside and just asking every single day, Mom, when will the medicine kick in? When will I get better? And sure enough, I got better. But at the time, I really had very little hope. It was it was really awful. And then, so the one thing that really was my little string of hope was my medicine. I knew that if anything was going to fix me, it would be me taking my medicine. So I would take it every day, right on the dot, as early as possible, right at 9:30 p.m. And I'd go to bed with night terrors, unimaginably terrifying. Could barely go to sleep. I'd even have to sleep in my mom's bed with her because it was so terrifying sometimes. So, where do I go from here? I'm trying to think of what direction I should go in. So, no. At one point, around 4 months in, this is when my medicine, was working a little bit better every single day. But there's this one moment called the click. The click was this moment where an angel must have touched me on the shoulder, because for 15 seconds, I suddenly felt all the pain I was feeling, all the terrifying thoughts I was having, suddenly simmer down and disappear. And I could hear my one true voice in my head just it just was there. I could hear myself clearly in my head. And it was like, whoa, what just happened? What just happened? I looked at my mom, who was like 10 feet from me. I was like, Mom, what's going on? And it just suddenly disappeared after 15 seconds. It went back to psychosis. But that moment was hope, personification. Because although it was something that we eventually discovered was probably through psychotic lens, it still meant something to me more than anything I could have ever wanted. I knew from that point on that I wanted to keep taking my meds again. I wanted that click back. I really wanted that back. So I kept striving and striving and talking about that experience. And, you know, after 6 months, I started getting better. I started actually getting better. I got a tutor at my house. I got a tutor at my house to help me pass my senior year of high school, and you know, I couldn't be more grateful for the support I have from my psychiatrists, my therapists, my CBT therapists, my family, and my friends. I got to a point. Also, please tell me how much time I have left because I don't 100% know. But I got the support. So I graduated high school, and then I graduated college. But I had a second relapse actually from not smoking marijuana, but drinking a little bit of alcohol on my meds. 2 minutes left. Okay, so thank you for telling me. I'm gonna fast forward. So, so fast forward to my 21st birthday. I went to another hospital because I needed help again. I went there for 1 month, and I knew that after that 1 month went by, I was good. That was 21. Now I'm 26. So 5 years. Let's go to the good part. 5 years. I've been sober from marijuana, sober from alcohol. I got my new diagnosis, schizophrenia, and I'm
Congratulations!
Thank you. I got schizophrenia, and that's my proudest moment because I'm now in a community of mental health that I know I can strive and I know I can defeat stigma in. I've been in movies as a ballroom dancer, which ballroom dance helped me tremendously during my first episode of psychosis. I'm in movies with Chris Pine, Jennifer Lawrence, Bradley Cooper, Robert De Niro. I won many competitions in first place in ballroom dance stuff. Oh my God, I'm going so fast. I only have 2 minutes. Most of all, I can finally say I'm 100% recovered, and that I've never felt so present, secure, and resilient as I do today. I've not touched alcohol or drugs in order to never revisit that trauma. I can finally say that I'm so good. I'm more sociable, grateful, independent, brilliant. I'm proud of myself. I have gratitude, so much of it, and I'm so proud to say that I have schizophrenia. Thank you.
Wow, that was such an amazing and moving story, Dev. Thank you.
Janet, I know you're probably saying something awesome, but I can't hear you. If you could type it in the chat, that'd be great. I mean, you're lagging a bit, so we're unable to.
Yeah, Janet, you're breaking up a bit. If you could type it in the chat, please, and then you could say it a little bit, try again a little bit later. It might be your connection. But if there's any other reactions, guys, please take the floor.
Can I ask a question, Amina?
Yes, of course.
Is there any advice for somebody struggling with dependency, either alcohol, cigarette, or drug dependency? That any advice you would offer to them while they're taking medication to come off of their drug dependency or alcohol or tobacco?
Me personally, you're asking, or you're asking Amina?
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, you've come so far in your journey. So if there's anything that you've picked up in your journey, that would be wicked helpful to know, I think. Thank you, Dev.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try and answer you. I may have to ask you to repeat it one more time, but I think that um, it comes to a point where you have to realize that we're not invulnerable. We're not invincible, and alcohol and drugs are they can really damage you while you're taking your medicine. So I realized that I have to realize what is more important, my health or getting a high or a drunk feeling. So that's a very basic answer to that, but I think it's an important way to phrase it. Um, yeah, I hope that helps. I can also answer it again if you want to repeat the question too. I know I had something else I wanted to say, but
I guess I'm just wondering if there's any advice you would offer to a parent of a child or of a person struggling with alcohol or drug dependency while they're on any sort of mental health medication that they shouldn't. You know how doctors sometimes say like, oh, you shouldn't do drugs or you shouldn't drink, and you like, antidepressants or anti-anxiety medicines. Like, if there's any advice you would offer to somebody who's on those sort of medications like serotonin and things like that, to help them cope with their drug or alcohol dependency while on medication.
So I think why it's a hard question for me to ask is because I wasn't specifically dependent on marijuana or alcohol. So that's why I'm a little stumped. I know that for a fact that people change when they get to their lowest point. They know, okay, I need to do something about this. And that's what happened to me. I smoked marijuana so much because I loved the feeling. And I knew that when I went to this lowest point in my entire life, that something had to change. I knew I could not smoke and drink anymore, and there's so much like peer pressure to drink and smoke and do drugs, and it's being sober is like it's like a drug itself. There's people don't realize that sobriety is actually a really good feeling in itself, being sober, being away from all the peer pressure and away and just being independent. But yeah, again, I wish I could help you more. I know there's many resources out there. Joanna?
Yeah, so one of the things is that is trying to get buy-in from the young adult. And that's one of the main reasons why we decided that there will be a very good candidate for this for this presentation. Is that trying to get the youth connected with PAL and have that youth talk to a youth like themselves, someone that has been there, done that, like someone that can say, yeah, this is what what helped me, this is what did not help me, but trying to get buy-in and saying like, this is how I felt at my worst and this is how I feel at my best, and sometimes when they go on these groups and or like a support group or a phone call, we notice that a lot of the young adults feel like, oh, I see someone that understands that is not telling me that I have to stop, but it's actually understanding that this is a difficult journey. That is understanding, is normalizing, okay, this is hard, this is difficult. For the parents, I really suggest like they as well, they need the support, like in my own experience, I know that we need the support as much as the child or the young adult. So we could always get support groups for them, for the parents as well. And also, you know, like we have a lot of resources that we can share. Like if you have a specific family that you're working with, that this is one of their challenges, we can definitely support them and assist them in a lot and give them a lot of information in the process, because it's not easy. Because first you have to get buy-in, you have to get the person to say, yes, I do need help. You know, if you don't have that, it's going to be very difficult for that child or young adult to make a change.
I'd be more than happy to answer any more questions, or if you want to email me any questions also.
I hope, Kayla, that helped.
Thank you, Johanna and Dev. I was just trying to think of some questions that might be helpful for community members to answer. It's really great to hear about any resources you guys can offer, like your workshop groups, or I know like there are some health centers that like Dot House Health offers AA groups, and there are some churches and health centers in the area that offer NA groups. But like just hearing any ideas, you know, coming from somebody who has been in that position, and just like any steps that people, families, community members can take to help encourage people to get help was something I was really just trying to dig deeper into. But thank you so much for your insight. It was wicked helpful to hear that.
Yeah, thank you so much. And maybe if, you know, if we find any of those resources, if we can identify them, we can also include it in the follow-up email. But since we are getting close on time and still want to have a discussion at the end, I will pass it over to Stacy.
Hi, everybody. I have some slides I'm going to show. Going after Dev is really tough. That's some big shoes to fill. But I heard so much of him talking about his mom, and I'm sort of looking at it as the perspective of a mom who has my own mental health diagnosis, but also a mom who's raised some kids. And I think just hearing what he's got to say about his mom really sort of validate some of what I'm going to be talking about. I think for us to support our children, it's super important for us to be feeling as though we are able to do that. I'm going to try to get some slides up here on the screen. Make sure that I am showing those. Does everybody see those? If somebody just wants to say a yes, I can't see you all.
Yes.
Yep.
Beautiful. So what I'm here to talk about is the fact that I have had quite a long journey myself. I won't talk about it in the way Deb did, but I did raise children who had some pretty serious mental health struggles. We dealt with a lot of violence, a lot of very difficult things in my home. And I had a rough time myself dealing with it because I had my own anxiety problems, my own types of things that I was dealing with. So I became a family partner because I did have that lived experience. I tried to help other families going through similar situations. And about 2.5 years ago, I decided to do some educating myself on some alternative ways of healing myself and dealing with the issues that I was dealing with, basically so I could be the best caregiver that I could. So kind of quickly, this is all pretty obvious stuff, but when a caregiver is able to nourish and care for themselves, we clearly have a greater capacity to parent effectively, consistently, with more compassion. Sometimes our bandwidth gets super thin and we're not able to be acting the way we'd like to. When we are raising children who have some of these challenges, typically we have very little time, very few resources, other children. There's so many responsibilities that come into our life while we're navigating this journey. And really, we just want to learn to support our children, to support our families, to move forward and to grow in our journey. And really, most important, to add moments of joy into everyone's life. So while we travel this journey, how can we take care of ourselves in a sustainable way? And I think sustainable is super important. There are a lot of ways to care for ourselves, self-care, self-love. But I found that a lot of the advice I got for self-care were things I couldn't sustain. Oh, go get a massage, or, here's a gift of a massage. That was a one-time thing. And many of the suggestions I got were things that were costly, that were time consuming. So for me, self-care became a chore, like our little girl on the screen. And I began to realize that if I could deepen my self-love, I had problems with self-esteem, things that are natural for all of us. And when I could deepen that feeling of self-love, self-care came very naturally. It really became a gift. It became a pleasure for me and no longer a chore. So I think that deepening and developing a real unconditional love for ourselves can impact the energy that we send out into the world. Understanding what impacts our own human energy. It's an electromagnetic field. Everyone has it. It can help us learn to treat ourselves with maybe some more love, compassion. Forgiveness is super important. That was a big one for me. And role modeling these qualities to our children, to our families, are going to be of great benefit. A lot of people that I've worked with, clients, people that I've worked with privately, I say there's one really simple way to find out how you're feeling about yourself. And it's this question right here. Do you speak to yourself the way you'd speak to a friend or a loved one? Most of us do not. I did not. I spoke a little bit about human energy. So just a real quick physics lesson. What is human energy? Everything in the world is made up of atoms. Atoms create matter as they are combined. Everything, my water bottle, my desk, all is matter. Atoms are constantly moving. So therefore, all matter is constantly moving, very imperceptibly, but everything is moving. This movement translates into a vibration. We all, understand something's moving and can be vibrating. And it's the rate, the speed of this vibration that creates the frequency that an object emits. So for the sake of this, we're talking about human energy, and everybody gives off an electromagnetic field. We may not know that, we can't necessarily see it, but I think we all have had an experience where we've sensed or felt somebody else's energy, even if that's not how we term it. So often we can sense somebody's mood. You see them, they walk into a room. I know this is true for my children. I could tell immediately. Sometimes we feel really connected with somebody else and aren't really sure why. Good vibes, bad vibes. We've all used those terms. There are times when you feel like someone is a soulmate, or you get that immediate sense of liking someone or not liking them, and you're not really sure why. You might not even really know them that well. And then one of my favorites is the term heavy. We use it all the time. That was a really heavy experience. And what happens is when we're not feeling like our vital selves, when we're not feeling sort of our optimal best, the energy that we give off is actually heavy. It's a contracted energy. It's a denser energy. So we've felt it and we may not even know we have. Our bodies are always giving and receiving messages from the energy that's outside of us, from the energy that's inside of us. We actually have sensors in our body. That's going into a little more science. But there's so many things in our lives that decrease our vibrational frequency. Life, it beats us down, and there's a lot of things that happen that are really tough. Prolonged stress, anxiety, trauma, depression, that list could go on and on. But I think it's important to know how raising your frequency will impact your life. Why would we do anything if we didn't understand why we were doing it? And I've got to say, a lot of these things feel very basic, but because I didn't really know what they were going to do for me, I really wasn't sticking with any type of so-called self-care practices. So raising your frequency can help you gain a greater sense of inner peace. It can attract more positive experiences and people into your life. It can help you maintain a healthy immune system. It can change your default mood. My anxiety defaulted me constantly to a oh my God type of feeling every time I heard bad news, something that was stressful. And it's important to learn to respond and just take that beat, that second, because I know that when I was reacting automatically, I was doing things that really weren't my choice. It was a reaction, not a response. So what can you do to deepen your self-love, to raise that vibrational frequency? The most important thing I think to share is words and thoughts. We talked before about, do you speak to yourself the way you speak to a friend? And neuroscience tells us that words and thoughts can completely impact who we are. I was saying we all vibrate at a certain amount of megahertz. It's usually somewhere between 65 to 75. But I found it so interesting when I found out that a single negative thought, you know, the one time I call myself an idiot because I forgot my keys, can actually lower your vibration. And by the same token, positive thoughts can increase your vibration. But if you look at the numbers, a few negative thoughts are going to require more positive thoughts to create that balance. And it really is true. Our brains believe what we say and what we think. Science has proven it. So the truth is, your thoughts create your reality. And I love this little thing, change your thoughts and you will change your world. How do we do this? What are the tools that we could use? Power of positive thinking. We just talked about the fact that our brains truly believe everything we think, everything we say. So affirmations and or a gratitude practice can be super helpful. I've tried different things. I did the sticky notes on the mirror, you're wonderful, have a great day. And I thought they were silly because I really didn't understand the reason behind doing it. And again, as I got further information, I began to realize that our language creates our story. We carry that story. We become that story. We respond to that story. So it's important to speak to yourself kindly and to notice what's good in your life instead of focusing on what you lack. It's so easy to focus on what we lack, but when your thoughts go to what you're grateful for, it really will make a difference. Words are powerful, so be kind to yourself. Another one is prayer or meditation, depending on your religious background. Some people are religious, others are more spiritual, but prayer and meditation have very similar benefits. You tend to set an intention. You're maybe praying about something in particular, the same way you might be meditating on something in particular. It helps us gain a greater sense of awareness with whatever's larger than ourselves. You may believe in God, you may feel it's the energy of the universe, but it gives us that moment of stillness and quiet so that we can access our inner truth. And I think that's something that we don't always get a chance to do. I know it was something that I rarely got a chance to do. It helps us listen to that inner voice, that intuition that sometimes we don't listen to. I spent years ignoring my intuition and telling it to go away. And over time, I realized that it really was telling me something important. When we pray or meditate, we use a part of our brain that's involved in self-soothing. And that also inactivates the part that's associated with reactivity. So that is shut down. And our brain releases oxytocin. And that's probably one of the best things that can happen to us. There are a few apps that I have used. Calm is one, Headspace. Liberate is a new one, and it was specifically designed for the Black community. And it's really an amazing place to check out if you feel like you need a little bit of help. It's guided. They are free, but as with every app, you can also go to the higher level and pay a subscription fee. I do not. I use all the free ones, and I find that they're really helpful. Random acts of kindness also raise our frequency. I say random because we often plan acts of kindness, and any kindness is fabulous. I don't want to diminish anything. But a random act tends to be much more spontaneous. It's being done without any expectation of something coming back. We're not doing it as a repayment of a kindness. And the law of attraction tells us that helping others also helps yourself. I won't go into the law of attraction, but basically what we give out, we will be getting back. As I said, we expect nothing in return. It helps remind us that we're all one human community. And I think that's very lost right now in our time. So any reminder that we can get is fabulous. It comes out of a piece of us that has generosity and love and compassion and allows us to really kind of key into those things. You can do it for strangers, those you know. Another thing that really is helpful is to take a minute and think about your senses. What do I see, feel, hear, taste, smell? It's called mindfulness. And I always thought I knew what mindfulness was. I thought it was, being quiet and appreciating the moment. But when I found out it was as easy as becoming aware of what each of your senses is experiencing, just notice. And it can be done while walking. It can be done while washing dishes. It's really as easy as that. It's quick. It can be done anywhere. And it really gives you just that moment to take your mind off other things, because you can't think about other things when you're thinking about five senses. Breath work, pranayama is what it's referred to in the yoga community. And basically, we all need to breathe. And breathing is actually the only autonomic system that we can control. Conscious breathing is something we can do. So many variations of breathing techniques. Everybody can find one that works for them. And science has actually measured the changes that our bodies experience when we change our breathing patterns. Obviously, we all know when you're hyperventilating, your body is doing one thing. When you're relaxing, maybe falling asleep, your body is doing something else. When your breath becomes more still, your mind does as well, and your body does. And it's a very effective way to shift your brain waves from what they call alpha, which is sort of what we're in day to day, into more relaxed states, beta, theta. And then finally, EFT, I believe this is my last one, which is also called tapping. And it is a technique where you use acupressure points and you tap them while you're thinking about a particular issue you'd like to deal with. It's called emotional acupuncture. I love that term. It's very simple. It's a very profound healing tool. And what you do very simply is you tap on specific acupuncture or acupressure points. They're the same. And you can manually move and clear energy that has been blocked. So you're tapping and you're speaking. And it also goes back to the neuroscience of us believing what it is we're saying. So a setup example might be, even though I am very anxious, I totally love and accept myself. And by repeating that and tapping on these particular points, it really alleviates a lot of what we're feeling. Quick diagram on the acupressure points that are used. Those are the only ones used in tapping. Different sequences, not all are used. And I put a resource down there, the tapping solution. I put the website, but it's also an app. And it will guide you through tapping sequences. Once again, you've got your lower level free, your higher level costs. Another one that's great is creating rituals in your life. A series of tasks you do in the same order. It turns very ordinary things into something that maybe is a little more important, a little bit elevated. Our brains love predictability, and rituals are very predictable. They're something we can expect. It creates some sacred space for us, gives us a little bit of quiet time. Sometimes we perform rituals that have been in our family, that have been passed down. It gives us that connection, but you can also create your own. They can be personal. They can be what's meaningful to you. And they can add focus and meaning to our lives. And to bring this back to the mental health of our kids, I think we all support our children in so many active ways. We're always doing so many things, but role modeling, loving, and caring for ourselves is a more passive way to guide our children. It's important for us to introduce these valuable tools and techniques in a fun and simple way while we're caring for ourselves. And I think it can help create an environment with really positive vibes. There are many more tools. I often do a longer presentation, but I hope this gets a little bit across. And Amina, you can let us know. I've got a couple of short activities. If we've got some time, I'd be happy to do them. I'm happy to take questions.
Yeah, I think that since we only have a few minutes left, what I'll do is I'll have the room decide if you would like, I'll switch to gallery. If you would like to do the breathing exercise with Stacy, put a heart in the reaction, or just press breathe or write breathing exercise in the chat. Or if you'd like to ask questions, then you can say questions in the chat, or you can put a thumbs up.
And no hard feelings either way.
So I'll give a minute for everyone to decide. Okay, I'm seeing hearts. I'm seeing hearts. Okay. But I only see 2 hearts. So are we going with the breathing exercise? I think it's been decided. So we're gonna go with your exercise, Stacy. Oh,
Okay.
Sarah, breathing. Okay.
I'm gonna set my timer because I know we're on the clock. But just a little bit of background. And now that we talked about breathing, you do have a little bit of background. But I found it so interesting when I found out that human beings breathe about 12 to 15 times a minute naturally. Obviously, when we're stressing, anxious, we can breathe more times. When we're sleeping, relaxed, obviously fewer times. But there are some breathing techniques that allow us to take that 12 to 15 down. When we take that breathing down, it impacts our heart, our brain. So we're going to do something called square breathing. I'm going to guide everybody through it quickly. It looks just like a square, and we're going to inhale for 3. We're going to hold that for 3. We're going to exhale for 3. And we're going to hold that for 3. I'm going to guide you guys through this 3 times. And get comfortable. Feel free to close your eyes, and I will be talking you through it. So if everybody wants to just get comfortable, take one deep breath in. Release that breath. And now we're going to inhale. 1, 2, 3. We're going to hold. 2, 3. We're going to exhale. 2, 3. And we're going to hold that. 2, 3. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. We're going to hold that. 2, 3. We're going to exhale. 2, 3. And hold that. 2, 3. One more inhale to 3. Hold that. 1, 2, 3. We're going to exhale to 3. 2, 3. We're going to hold that. 2, 3. And if everybody wants to take a deep inhale, fill that whole front body, even to the back ribs. And just exhale with a sigh if you're comfortable. Louder the better. Get rid of some of those toxins and carbon dioxide that's been building up in your body. And really quickly, each of those took 12 seconds. If you do that for a minute, you've brought your breathing down to five times a minute. All of these things we can use for children. I mentioned that toward the end, but you can see how a breathing technique like that can be really fun with kids. You use your fingers. I've put crayons down. You can be creative, but it's always good. So thank you, everybody, for sharing that with me and letting me come and share some of this information with you.
Thank you. That was wonderful. I already feel a bit relaxed.
I hope so.
I love all the tips. I will say that since we didn't get to go through everything and the presentations were amazing, if you guys want to share the slides, we can send it up in the follow-up email too, because it was just absolutely fantastic to learn about all of this. Since we have 3 minutes left, I will give space to sort of, if there's any last minute questions. And then also I'll pass the floor over to Kayla to talk about our upcoming conversation that's coming up on breaking generational curses. So I'll pass the floor over to her, and then the last 3 minutes, we'll just take questions and wrap it up.
Amina, can you hear me? I'm sorry, I'm having some connection issues.
Oh, yes, I can hear you.
So on the second Thursday of July, we're having a conversation with counselor of District D4, Brian Worrell. He'll be talking about civic engagement, so a way for community members to get involved with civic engagement and talking about like policy recommendations and different things like that for people to really get informed in what's happening in the community. And on July 26th, so the fourth Tuesday of July, we'll be having a community conversation on breaking interracial curses around safe swimming. And so to follow up with that, we'll be having a group beach day on the fourth Thursday of July, so July 28th at the beach on Morrissey Boulevard. We really hope people will attend, but we'll send some follow-up emails to get everybody information on that.
Yes, thank you. And we'll also share all of this in our follow-up email as well. If there's any last minute questions, I put a feedback form in the chat. So you let us know what you thought or any other conversations that you'd like us to talk about. So we have a minute. If anyone has any last minute questions or comments. Okay, I think not. So I just want to extend huge thanks to Pal. Thank you to Dev. Thank you, Joanna. Thank you, Stacy. This was so beautiful. It was so amazing. Thank you, Dev, for sharing your story. It really touched me. Thank you, Stacy, for also sharing a little bit about your responses to what Dev had said. I'm sure all the parents in this room probably felt something when you said that too. And all of us who've dealt with any type of mental health issues or know anyone in our family, it's really important to know and hear that we're not alone, because those intrusive thoughts make us feel like we're alone. But in the words of Stacy, say those positive affirmations, say the positive things so we can raise the vibrations. But thank you all for coming, and have a great rest of the day. And I'm hopefully can play some music to play us out. Okay, playing us out. Bye, everyone.
Right.
Bye. Have a great afternoon. Have a great night. Oh, you guys don't have to stay. You can log off unless you'd like to hang out. That's okay.
Okay. No, I just wanted. I thought people were gonna.
What were you saying, Joanna?
No, I just wanted to get just stay to say bye or something.
Oh, yes,
It
go
looked like
ahead.
you were saying.
Yes.
I've been having dreams, jumping on a
Let's
trampoline.
catch up later then, Amina.
Alrighty.
I don't know if you're, but
Bye.
thank you so much. This was wonderful. I
Yeah.
really enjoy
All
everything.
right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Everybody,
Yeah.
I'd like to say thank you. This is Mireille from Mattapan. There's my face. Ironically or coincidentally, there is a mental health crisis right here in Mattapan Square. Somebody was on top of the T-Mobile building, wanted to jump. So there's a bunch of, rescue and police officers. So thank you for this talk because our community really need this. We really, really need this support. So thank you so much.
And I'm really gonna contact you, send you an
Please.
email. Thank you so
Yes.
much for the notes. And Portuguese
I
community as
appreciate it.
well. So if
Yes,
you know the
thank you,
Portuguese
Joanna.
and Spanish
Yeah,
community.
every one of